ISRL for round 8 here in Division 2 at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So the newest track on the calendar in the F1 world, apart from Las Vegas, which is obviously in Miami. Actually no, got that wrong already. But yeah, today it'll be just me once again. We've got 14 drivers ready to go here at Saudi Arabia for our second sprint race of the season. So basically, if you haven't seen the first race, which is at USA, I do believe, well, first sprint race, it is a one-shot qualifying, which is always nicer for a commentator. Adds more action. A 25% race around Jeddah today, and then we'll go into a new lobby, which will form the grid for the race, and then we will do a 50% race around Jeddah like usual. I'm sure that'll be great chaos all around, as it always is around Jeddah, which is why so many people do not like it. Well, I don't know. I kind of like the track on the game. In real life, no, but in the game it's good. There's very mixed opinions on the track, but yeah, as we wait for everyone to make sure they actually click their setups on and get ready for the one-shot qualifying, which we'll just go on board with whoever the game puts us on board with and see how they do, I guess. And yeah, we're going to start now. Nice to be back after a week's break from ISRL, obviously because of the Jeddah race last week, which was not great to watch. As we are on board with Sofian going into the first corner, wanted to brake just around the 100-metre board there, trying to use as much of the curb as possible, and on the exit here, doing a bit of a Max Verstappen and maybe almost touching the wall through there. Here you want to be as close to that inside wall as you can, not to try and exceed the track much on the exit, and then going into this middle sector, and he has invalidated, will stay on board anyway, unless he decides to invalidate or slow down. But going into the end of the first sector split, and then into the banks to the left-hander, which is, don't know, around 100 miles an hour, I'd say, if you can push it and qualifying. And now down into the section, which is pretty much a majority of it is a straight line at this point now. We got through this corner very nicely. It has Sofian, and now he uses all of the speed of that Mercedes-powered Williams down this back straight, heading into the second of the DRS straights, technically, down this back straight where we've seen many incidents over the past year or two races that in real life of Jeddah, and I'm sure we'll see some today down this straight, and then into the final corner where we obviously had the famous incident in last year's race, which Sofian nearly recreates there, and across the line he will do 1:28. However, obviously because he invalidated, the lap would not count anyway, and we do have a grid for the sprint race. So yeah, as you can see, I much prefer one-shot qualifying, with EFL Leo actually getting the pole with a 27.5, a very impressive lap indeed from the Romanian driver. In P2 is EDA Sprunky, P3 Bassi, P4 Lorenzo, P5 Robbie, 6 Daruge, the championship leader, may I add, so not maybe where he wants to start the cheese in P7, Demortin 8th, Knight 9th, Farrow Fury 10th, Deadly Mosquito 11th, Captain Blade 12th, Jono and Sofian in 13th and 14th, and they're two of the 3 drivers who got disqualified for invalidating a lap. And we're already onto our race, which is just brilliant. I mean, makes the job so much easier for me when there's actually action to commentate on, especially when you can't really do Saudi Arabia facts, can you? It's not the best subject you can do these days. So, that was my bad. So we're going to see now what strategy everyone selects. I mean, it's going to be pretty simple, soft, medium, I presume, for the sprint race, at least. As we wait and see. We've got 8 seconds left, which is, you know, what you love to see, really. So yeah, how's everyone's weekend been? Been a pretty crazy weekend. Obviously we've got the football back from international break. We haven't got F1. That is next weekend, if I'm right in saying, in Australia, which will be a ridiculously early time to start watching. So that is all fun. And having a look at the strategies, Deadly Mosquito and Sofian are the only drivers to decide to stick on the medium tyres and go for an ulterior strategy. Fair play to them. Gives us some spice, doesn't it? As obviously this track is obviously one of the newest ones on the calendar, like I mentioned earlier. Miami and Vegas, the newer ones, which aren't in the game for this year because they're not part of the season. However, there's been a lot of mixed opinion on this track. I think the track itself, layout-wise, if it was a bit wider, would be quite a good track. I think it's just the way they've done it with the barriers so close to the apexes of corners and whatnot. It's just impossible to see if blue flags and stuff, like blue flags would just be impossible to see for drivers. And we've obviously got the whole issues that we have in Saudi Arabia with the explosions and whatnot, which is obviously quite shocking, really. If you saw them last weekend, there was obviously quite a lot of talk of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix being cancelled altogether, which is quite unusual. As yeah, I can almost finish waffling now and actually get back on the action with EFL Leo readying us up to start this 13-lap sprint to determine the grid for the race. So to get pole position, and you get 3 points, I think, for first. I don't know how it works, to be honest. I don't know if we get more points or less points. Who knows? So yeah, we should be almost ready now, as we're just waiting for one or two drivers now to catch the back of the grid. I mean, and then eventually you'd hope the camera lets me change so I can get a good view of the start of the race, as you need that when commentating, like a view of the grid. Here we go. We've got 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and away we go here for the sprint race here in Saudi Arabia in ISRL. Has EFL Leo got a good enough start to keep Sprunky behind? He does manage to do so, and by doing that, he's allowed Bassi to get into P2. A brilliant start from the house driver. Now, as it seems to be quite a clean start from every driver as well, which is what you love to see. Obviously, that start, I think Leo did try, and there's someone already out at the back, never mind. However, what I was saying is the way Leo defended, which was very clever from him, the Mercedes driver, it almost squeezed Lorenzo and Sprunky into the inside curb, which you don't want to be. Going into turn 1, you want as much room to turn in and turn out as you can, which allowed Bassi right round the outside, and he has gained 1 position from that. And so has Lorenzo, actually. And Sprunky is the biggest loser of the lot there, as everyone channels down these back straights now in Jeddah, as everyone taking the track limits to the extreme, which we're not surprised to see, are we really? And now I think everyone still is actually in this front train, apart from ISRL Knight, actually, who's having a lovely little battle with Sofian and RPM Jono. Sofian looks down the inside. He's actually binned it at the final corner. Big shock there for the big upset for the Williams driver there on those medium tyres. He's going to have big problems with Knight in the pits as well. So for a wing change, not what you want to see at all here, as we've got 3 drivers almost out of contention in this sprint race now. And looking at this front train, Bassi is all over the back. I mean, he's gone a bit off the track completely there as well. However, he is all over the back of that Mercedes. A bit like real life at the minute, has been quicker than Mercedes. I mean, where we've heard that one before, and then I don't know how the Ferraris are behind them, but it is what it is. As now Demorch is looking all over the end of that the rear wing of that Alpine of Faro Fiore. Can he do anything now? Maybe he's got to run in a lower setup and he can get in the slipstream and before the DRS opens and everyone in this train gets DRS, maybe he can find somewhere to get a move done on the Alpine driver. I think he may be doing that actually, as he's got a much better run than the Fiore down into the final corner. Is he going to try and brake later and round the outside? I think he might. He thinks better of it, however, as the gap sort of closes for him. He tries to make a bit of a different exit, as actually we see a Ferrari driver very late into the pits there of EDA Sprunky after that bad start. Maybe trying something different to what he was originally planning. As we charge on down into the first and most important part of the lap here. This section of the track is where you need your downforce. It's what makes the track. If you can keep up through here, you're going to have a good run for the rest of the lap, usually. As Bassi now with that DRS closes right up to the back of the Mercedes driver. And he's going to have a lovely little slipstream all the way down into sector 3, where the second DRS straight is. And it'll be interesting to see what he does with that second DRS, obviously. You can choose to use it, you can choose to almost not use it and actually get the move done on the main straight. We shall see. However, he is right on the back of that Mercedes of EFL Leo. As Leo actually goes wide into that corner there, almost forcing Bassi into trying to make a move here. Now with DRS, it should be a simple move round the outside. He's going to use his DRS to get past as well. Leo doing the clever thing there, going for the DRS on this straight, which he will now get. Surely it's a done deal move back into the lead of this race for the Mercedes driver. He's going to use his DRS. Can he get anything done? No, he cannot actually. So unlike in real life, Carl's struggling to make that move done on the main straight. As De Morton and Farah Fury are actually side by side here into turn 3. Neither of them are going to want to give up the space, but Farah Fury decides best not to battle in this section. And De Morton does get past and into P7. Good move by the AlphaTauri driver. Yes, we're now right on board with Cheese, chasing down Robbie in the Red Bull, which is... He's in a bit of a... Cheese and Derouge at the minute in a bit of a problem. Then if they do manage to get past Robbie, who seems to not have the pace of the front 3. Yes, they get past, but then they lose the DRS advantage, which obviously is so powerful around here. It's just going to cause themselves more problems. Bassi at the minute clearly has the most pace on out of everyone here. I understand he's almost dropped EFL Leo going into the final sector. However, Leo will get that DRS, which will close him right back up to the back of the Haas rear wing. And yeah, so it's become a bit of a endurance thing now for the front 3. Make sure they can get away from the others. And Leo is in the pits. As Lachise now making his move past Robbie. Gets the move done very nicely indeed by the Haas driver. And puts himself into a current P3. As we now have EFL and Leo trundling down the pits. Where will he come out in comparison to Sprunky, who obviously pitted quite a while ago now on these medium tyres? Didn't like those softs one bit, did he? And he's came out massively ahead actually. Maybe Sprunky's had a wing change. As Bassi picks up a time penalty now. Obviously in a sprint race here, it's only 13 laps, so he's only got 8 laps left. It's going to be very difficult for him to make that gap of 3 seconds up on everyone else. What will he be able to do, the Haas driver? Sprunky picks up a penalty himself, so now lap 5 we're seeing a lot of drivers starting to make some mistakes now, which is leading to penalties and exceeding the limits, which is quite hard to do actually on this track, I will admit. One thing I have noticed, Lorenzo's pace in that Ferrari, obviously chasing after his title rival in the standings, Derouge, who's currently sat P5, is that he's got quite good pace in that Ferrari. Speaking of Derouge, he's looking down the inside of Robbie, can he do anything going onto the straight? He decides against it, and Lorenzo is actually in the pits now. What will the strategy be? Bassi decided to stay out, which is a very interesting call from the Haas driver. You saw Leo that he hit the lap before. Those mediums you'd expect to have quite a big undercut on the drivers around him. As we'll find out now with Lorenzo. He manages to just come out ahead of the Ferrari driver. Actually not as big undercut as I was expected. Going into sector 1 now. Neither of these drivers are going to help each other out. Maybe try and catch an undercut Bassi actually. My bad. However, Lorenzo has almost a 50% DRS advantage at the minute. He's going to have to use some of that ERS to keep up with Leo after making a slight mistake into start of sector 1. There's now Robbie all over the back of that house, like I said before. But it's all well and good having the pace to overtake. It's can you have enough pace to keep the car behind you away? As we see there, Robbie eases past the Haas driver there. As I surely expect to see Bassi in the pits now. We do, indeed. As obviously Lachise will be one of the drivers staying out. As now we'll see. Can Leo, or Lorenzo actually, who's got his DRS advantage on the Mercedes driver, go around the outside? It should be a simple move for him. He'll get him into turn 1, and will this help him jump the Haas driver of Bassi? Bassi comes out just ahead, in fact, of the Ferrari driver. But obviously now he has that time penalty, which is going to drop him almost to Robbie in P7 as it stands. Which is not good news indeed for the Haas driver, who's shown quite a lot of pace so far this race. And once again now, he'll have the freshest tyres out of everyone here. He'll have the chance to show this pace off again. He needs to get out of that DRS as soon as possible. However, it's a very difficult track to do so. You'll have to be nailing these tight corners, which are actually quite fast. Actually, they're one of the faster corners on the calendar. And speaking of fast, we're going to expect a fast AlphaTauri here and a fast Haas racing into the pit lane, I presume. Which they do, and I'm guessing Captain Blade will follow suit. He does indeed. And now we have the fight for the lead. We have Leo, Lorenzo and Bassi in this fight for the lead. At the minute, with Bassi's penalty, it means it's only Lorenzo and Leo really in the scrap, which means Leo needs to try and make a move on the Ferrari driver, whilst the Ferrari driver has DRS, which will be not easy at all around the track, which it's not the easiest to get drivers into problems and mistakes and whatnot. As I will apologise in advance, I am very tired today, so if I do miss anything, don't complain. I am just trying my best on my ones, and whilst I feel like I'm falling asleep, so yeah. However, we've got 5 laps left. 6 laps left of this race, and the field has now begun to spread out quite a bit, as you can see. Lachise in P4 with Dean Morse in P5. They've actually managed to do quite the overcut on the Robbie and Derouge behind them. Clearly these soft tyres working a lot better than people expected them to be. So now De Morse will be looking for the move on the Haas driver to get himself in that P4 and maybe try and close down Lachise's teammate actually in Bassi, due to him having a penalty. Obviously this is all for position for tomorrow's race. for the race in a few moments' time. As De Morse does get that move done now, we can finally see what his pace is like. As we have Captain Blade and Sprunky quite close to each other on track actually, so we're right on board with these for a bit. Ferrari v Mercedes, I think we've all won this battle, I think. Getting Sebastian versus Lewis vibes, if you ask me. The main problem at the minute is the drivers managing to keep up with each other through Sector 1. As you may have just seen, Sprunky quite low on ERS. Captain Blade got a lot more ERS to play with at the minute. He'll notice that red flashing light on the Ferrari, which Max Verstappen obviously couldn't in Saudi Arabia this year round, or so he is complaining about. And yeah, all is good in the world, and we'll cut back quickly to this battle for P4. The Cheese and De Morte, they seem to have very even pace, and I'm pretty sure the Cheese is going to fly right on by here. As he does so indeed, and back into P4 goes the Haas driver, and all of this has done really is allowed Robbie and the Rouge back onto their path, which is not great, is it? As De Morte is now going to look for the move on the Haas driver actually into turn 1. He thinks better of it, which gives a little ripple effect down the field, the next few positions at least. When one driver brakes early, everyone has to brake slightly earlier in advance to prepare to not crash into him. Or you'd think anyway. Some people just, don't do that and just brake at the normal point and just cause a crash. But so far, I must say this race has been a very clean race as well. No drivers really caught in any issues. So from at least my point of view, it's looked very clean racing, which is obviously what you love to see. And that means we could possibly, if things go our way, get an interview at the end of the race. Because obviously, with Division 1 being at 8 PM, it will be touch and go to see whether I'll be able to do that. As once again, I'm going to cut back to Leo here and cut back again, as Leo was actually doing nothing in the end. As this time it's De Morte, the one getting past the Haas driver, but they got to be a lot more careful, these two. They've now got Robbie and De Rouge, the championship leader, is going to be looking to get every position he can anyway. And here comes Robbie down the inside of De Morte, and they're going to go side by side into turn 1. This could be Lachisa's chance to get away actually. They're going to stay side by side going into turn 4. It's not the bravest idea, I will admit, and it's just slowed each other down massively there. And look at the gap Lachisa's already managed to pretty much pull out on them. I say that, and he's still well within the arrest, and I'm sure that battle will carry on continuing as we head into the penultimate lap of the race, which is actually quite flown by, I must say. Not really been much going on in terms of chaos, safety cars, virtual safety cars, the lot. Red flags, yellow flags, you know what I'm on about. As we shall see if Lorenzo, as I've just noticed, Bassi is now in P3, Leo is in the lead, which means this fight for the win is a legitimate fight for the win here. Leo's got a lot less ERS to play with than the Ferrari driver behind him, and doesn't have DRS to help him out, so Lorenzo surely has an easy move here on the Mercedes driver. Will he get the move done? He does indeed, without using any ERS either. He stays side by side with the Mercedes driver into turn 1. Can they do anything now going into turn 2 and turn 3? Side by side here. Bassi will be hoping there's maybe a collision of some sorts to get amongst this and get that 3-second gap, which he so desperately needs removed from the equation. Doing stuff like that will not help your track limits, FYI. As the Cheese picks up a penalty, and what a costly penalty that could be. As even Sprunky and Blade aren't far off these guys, so he could lose out into even P9. Yeah, could sprint the Cheese with that penalty. So the Haas drivers having a bit of an issue with the track limit at the minute, as the EFL Leo picks a penalty as well, which pretty much gives Lorenzo pole position. Not the race win, pole position, because we're doing sprint. See, I've got my stuff down to a T. So heading on to this last lap now. Lorenzo will make the move on the Mercedes driver, and so will Bassi. Bassi will follow him through, and that has led from EFL Leo leading the race, getting pole position for the is it the endurance race? It's not really endurance race, is it? It's just the race coming up. As Bassi now is going to go for the move on Lorenzo. How much of an effect it will make, I do not know, as neither of these drivers have penalties. He just gives himself a bit of a buffer to the guy he is actually battling, EFL Leo in the Mercedes. As now, we've still got the Morton and the Cheese battling like mad. A bit like Ocon and Alonso, really. Yeah. Interesting stuff as we head on to this final lap now. These three drivers have been inseparable all race. I'm assuming in about 5 minutes time when the obvious endurance race, I'm going to call it now, I like that saying, start. I think it's going to be a much more tightly contested race for the win than I do believe, because I don't think the likes of Demortal, Cheese, Derouge, even Robbie to an extent, Robbie may be the only one, but the top six all have quite good pace, and obviously once the gaps are spread out, it's so much harder to take the takes the gap down. However, the sprint race is over. No chaos actually happened, and we're going to have Lorenzo come across the line, in fact, to win the race. Well, get pole position on track, and even with a penalty. EFL Leo finishes in P2, De Mort in P3, CPI Derouge in P4, and Bassi, did he pick up a penalty on this final lap? I think he has done. And what that has meant is he's now down in P5 for the start of the race tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but tomorrow. With Robbie in P6, Lacheese in P7, Captain Blade in P8, Farrell Foury in P9, Sprunky in P10, Jono, Stofian and Knight round off 11th to 13th, as that is the sprint race done for. So we can, yeah, quite a fun race indeed. As I will say this, I'm pretty sure the free tyre choice will be a factor at this sprint, well, not sprint race, main race. As I accidentally skipped the podium celebration, which I'm just used to doing because I'm not on it. However, Lorenzo in the Ferrari, going from 4th the grid to 1st, a brilliant drive to get pole position. EFL Leo in 2nd, AlphaTauri of De Mort actually in P3 from 8th on the grid, very impressive from him. CPI Derouge, obviously he's lost a couple of points here to his title rival Lorenzo. However, I'm sure he'll be much happier in 4th than he was in 5th. Bassi in the Haas in P5, obviously had a great race and was unfortunate with penalties. Robbie P6, Lacheese P7, Captain Blade in P8, Farrafiori in 9th, Sprunky in 10th, Jono in 11th, Sofian, Knight and Deadly Mosquito round off the rest of the grid, which is what we'll be seeing in a few moments time. So yeah, what do I do now to fill the time in between? We can't do facts of Saudi Arabia, that's just going to end up being like quite dodgy. What could we do? I'm thinking we could do Brian T says, shout out to Sprunky for swapping DRS with me to clear my 3-second penalty. So shout out to you, Sprunky, for doing that. Well done, you. So yeah, we'll wait in this lobby. Shouldn't take long, I presume. As we then will wait to get underway here in Saudi Arabia. And yeah, so we're going to talk about Disney, as I'm not sure what Disney has done. Apparently, a reminder that Disney Plus have been... People are cancelling their Disney Plus subscriptions because of their support for the LGBTQ plus. Wow, interesting. I personally will continue to watch shows on Disney Plus because a lot of my shows I like are on there. And yeah, well, yes, it's not great that they don't support the LGBTQ because it's 2022. You should be able to happily support them without being judged or treated worse for. Is that right? I've been on a political rant here as we wait, but yeah, I will continue watching Disney Plus. It's your choice whether you do or don't, but I just thought I'd let you know that, as we'll maybe just go through something else. As Birmingham beat West Brom today. Interesting. Tottenham absolutely battered Newcastle. You'd love to see it. But brilliant stuff. So yeah, and West Ham beat Everton. We got F1, real life F1 in Australia. I can run through the timings for you real quick. It is next weekend. I am right. Qualifying is at 7 to 8 o'clock. The race is at 6 o'clock. Practice 3 at 4 to 5. Practice 2 at 7 to 8. And practice 1 at 4 to 5 a.m. So that's UK time, obviously. It may be different for where you're from. But yeah. We can also quickly run through the standings because it's relevant to this race that we were all watching. So heading into Saudi Arabia today with how many rounds left? Let me find the calendar. With 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Really, 7 races. Excluding Saudi Arabia today, there is the Portugal Grand Prix next week, then there's Easter break week, then Britain, Australia, France, Azerbaijan, Belgium, which is the final sprint race of the season, and Brazil to wrap off the title. So with those races left, this is how the standings line up. CPI de Rouge heads the table in 114 points in the Alfa Romeo. ISRL Lorenzo, I'm guessing that's Lorenzo 1086 in the Ferrari, on 98 points, so a 16 point gap he has on, which has now been reduced probably quite a bit actually. With CRL Real DC, who's actually not here today, leading in P3 in the title fight in 91 points. ISRL Knight in P4 and 85. He'll be hoping to improve on that points as Sofian, as well as Sofian, who is P5 on 65. Luke, who's now been promoted to Division 1 after a few races, is 6th in the title fight in 61 points. Irish Potato on 54 points. Demort on 48. ISRL Yarno in P9 on 44 points. Only 1 point ahead of the Cheese in the Haas in P10, which probably will change today. Passe in P11. Faro Fury in P12. CRL Will in P13. ISRL Sprunky in P14. RPM Baker in 15th. Robbie in 16th. Nazareth in 17th. Quite a cool name. Mielozzi in 18th. Dark in 19th. And Bassi in P20. FRL Rotationer says, if Knight does not win this race, he is washed. So no pressure, Knight, but apparently if you don't win, you're washed. I do know what wash means. It's not like I don't know. I know what it means, but whether that is actual factual information or not, who knows? As we now carry on to wait and hope that the grid is nearly set for this race, as looking at the time, 6:40, I probably will not have time to do interviews. Depends how fast the drivers drive, I guess. So yeah. But yeah. I'm sorry for this brief delay. And it's obviously a sprint race. It's not the easiest feature to work in on F1 when they haven't added it themselves, because, you know, brilliant game. But yeah, as I think we are getting ourselves back underway here. Which is what we love to see. We got 6:42 PM. Division 2 has been told to ready up. Division 2 should ready up. And yes, we are. We are back underway in a momentary time to start this endurance race. I'm calling it endurance now. It's my thing. In Jeddah. It's a bit like a real life endurance race, because, you know, obviously bombs being set off is a bit of drive to survive, which, I mean, no one likes anymore, which I can't blame them, because they make stuff up pretty much to cause drama, which mainly with McLaren and Lando Norris, they manage to do it every season. So don't know why people were surprised that there was drama caused. However, it is what it is. And yeah, we're getting back underway as we wait for this little interview. Has anyone got any F1 races that they'd actually like to visit in real life? I personally would love to go to a Vegas race. I think more as a fan, the entertainment off the track would be quite a good one to go to, but it's very expensive, and, you know, you have to be of age to gamble and stuff. But I'm sure many people have a favourite track that they'd like to go to. But yeah, we're back underway here in Jeddah. It is sunny, I believe. No rain. Yeah. We've got 28 seconds remaining. I'm going to say at the end what I'm going to say, because I want to see someone mess up and forget. But yeah, obviously I'm a bit delayed here, so we'll wait a few seconds and then say that you may need to remember to put your setup on, because if you don't have a setup, you're not going to drive as quick, and you can be very annoyed with yourself that you've done a sprint race, maybe even qualified in pole position, and then forgot to put a setup on. So yeah, fun times. As now we're waiting for players to ready up. I'm hoping they're ready up and it's not glitched, but knowing my luck, it will be glitched. It is not, thank the Lord. As we are back underway, so here is what has changed. So obviously free tyre choice for this endurance race, due to the sprint race just being a race and you can't really start on those tyres because they're quite old. So the front two in Lorenzo and EFL Leo have decided to go on the medium tyres. The rest of the grid then, up until Sprunky and P10, have decided to go softs, and then same again. A lot more soft runners with Deadly, Mosquito in P14 on the mediums. So I think when you're making a decision like this at the start of the race, you got to think, where am I on the grid? Is there going to be a safety car? Is there a high chance of a safety car? Yes. Do you risk it and go for the mediums, which is probably the better strategy overall? I think mediums to soft is always the best part, better strategy. I presume, I don't really know. Not done much Jeddah around here. So yeah, as we do get ourselves, let everyone drive around a bit, you know, make sure their tyres are heated up, as you do. And we shall wait and see to what people think of Jeddah on a 50% race with more fuel and more chaos. I hope there isn't. We'll do that brilliantly. So yeah, we have got Sarah saying, Sprunky, don't crash, no safety car please. I think that is his aim, I do believe. Rotation saying medium soft is better if there is no safety car. I agree. Thank you for agreeing with rotation. Love that. So yeah, so Lorenzo and Leo technically on the better strategy. Whether there's a safety car that changes things, who knows. As we now will line up and wait for everyone to get underway here for round 8 in ISRL Division 2. And I can't wait. I need everyone to hurry up though. So yeah, we're going to wait for the camera to do some dodgy stuff. As per Motorsacker. If you know him, you're a legend. And yeah, we get the 5 red lights back on our screen. And for the second time this evening, away we go here in Jeddah. And who has got the best start? Demorte will be wanting to get the best start. He's almost squeezed into the wall by the 2 medium runners. Almost like teaming together there. Quite an interesting tactic from them. However, Leo has got the better run on Lorenzo going into turn 4. Does he stick it up the inside? He does not, and decides to keep the P2, which is crucial for their races. As now, no one has actually got damage either. Very nice to see. Clean racing once again, shown brilliantly by Division 2. As we now head into the first real test of this race. The interesting thing is now, what can Demorte, Bassi, Sterouge, Lacheese, Robbie, Farrell Fury even, Hot Blade, Jono, can they all keep up with the medium runs at the front? Can they get a move done? Derouge actually looking down the inside of Bassi going into this section. It's a very interesting idea here from the Alfa Romeo driver, and he does get the move done actually. Late braking there, he's run a lot, very wide there. It's going to give Bassi a chance to regain that position on him, so good idea from the championship leader. Unlucky that he didn't end up working either way. As Demorte takes a very wide line there, going into the last corner. He obviously wants to get a good slipstream on Leo, see if he can get a move done. However, the slipstream itself is not enough to keep ahead, to keep Demorte. Don't know what I'm saying actually. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to hope that everyone understands what I'm saying and presume they knew what I mean. As Demorte now on those soft tyres, for his race at least, he needs to get past these and get a gap to Bassi behind him. He needs to do it fast because these medium runners are going to be a lot slower at this stage of the race in comparison to himself, which we saw in the last race as well. Mediums did not start off as a good tyre. They didn't have much of an undercut effect either. So we continue on. Bassi actually looking the more likely to overtake out of the 2 drivers, going into the sector 3 where all the chaos usually happens on this track. I say that anyone's looking to overtake. If anyone's looking to overtake, it's Ifel Leo on Lorenzo. As we head into this final sector, Demorte has got the run on the Mercedes driver. Can he do anything with it though? He's going to look for the outside. He's not given any room whatsoever. Bassi is brave and sends it up the inside there. Does both clean racing, however, and both of them get away with it scot-free. But going onto this straight, they need to get these moves done fast, as they just cannot seem to get past to save their life at the minute. And it's very beneficial for the front two runners, don't get me wrong. Lorenzo and Leo are doing brilliantly here for their races. But it's got to be done soon by Demorts. They've got to find a place where they're not expecting the overtake as well. Now here's a perfect opportunity. Leo with a better exit. Can Demorts send it down the inside? He's going to have a braking opportunity here if he wants to send it around the outside. He can afford to brake later to try and squeeze it round the outside. He's actually squeezed into the wall there by the Mercedes driver. Bassey's going to try and capitalise on this. Will Demorts now actually have damage? I think he does actually. I think Demorts has end plate damage. Now this is going to cause a lot of chaos throughout the field going into this last corner. You're going to have such a bad run going through. I don't know what turns it is. Doesn't look too bad actually. However, I'm sure he will know of the damage at least. Bassey may probably know about the damage as well. He's looking to send it down the inside of the AlphaTauri driver. Will he actually send it? No, he forces Demorts into a deep entry into that corner, and it's not worked out for him one bit, as Demorts going for the move now on EFL Leo actually. So that damage clearly not that effective, as he's going to go try and be the head late on the brakes. He's not managed to do really much on the brakes there. As now they're going to be side by side. He's going to get the better traction on EFL Leo going into turn 4, where he needs to be on the inside line. He does make that stick very nicely indeed, and a crucial move from the AlphaTauri driver. Crucial move for Lorenzo's race as well. It's given him a car's gap between him and his main competitor at the minute. As we can all just breathe for a second now, get our breath back and wait for sector 3 for all the chaos to ensue once again. As if I was seeing this, I'd be quite happy with the likes of, I was going to say, is there anyone else that's Sprunky is not on the soft on mediums once either? But if you're on the mediums at the back of this train, you'd be very happy with how things are going so far. None of the soft runners are getting away from you. As ISRL Knight actually making a move on Captain Blade, tries to do it round on the inside, doesn't manage to work. Captain Blade's going to have DRS and using that ERS to try and get away from him. As Derouge is actually looking down the inside of Bressie. Derouge realises how important this move it is to make for his race at least. Become the net second runner in this train. And he is going to get the move done. He brakes quite early actually, giving Bressie a chance to almost come back at him, but it's not enough. And into P4 goes the Alfa Romeo driver. Whew. As we're going to have a bit of a Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher moment, not Michael, sorry. Did a Martin Brundle there and made that mistake. Was it Brundle or Crofty actually? Not sure. As now, if anything, the medium may start to come into their own. They've held out the first 5 laps, and the Immortus does not seem to be able to push much. And he's actually losing time to Lorenzo, if anything now. Which is not what you want to see. Leo now has, I think, realised this, and he needs to get back past the AlphaTauri driver, which, I mean, sums up these medium tyres, these soft tyres around here. I don't think they're the greatest race tyre, if I'm totally honest. As the Morse actually cuts the corner quite a bit there. And it's actually allowed Derouge to get a much better exit than the Mercedes driver on those medium tyres. And Derouge now into P3. Can he make anything? As Bassey now sends it down the inside as well. Absolute chaos here going into lap 6 of this race, as Leo is gone from nearly getting P2 all the way down into P6 in a space of about a corner and a half. As then now D. Morse is actually going for the move on Lorenzo once again to clear those softs. Not as bad as I said, which has just proved me wrong once again. And Derouge there as well. it is kicking off all over the shop here as we've got 11 drivers, almost 12 pretty much drivers in this train for the lead of the race, and penalties are going to play a big factor if you haven't noticed already. A lot of people already have them, and I say this knowing I'm full well getting the penalty in about an hour's time, but they're going to go side by side here. Derouge and De Mortis is not a place where you want to be going side by side at all, and what it's done is caused absolute chaos throughout the field. And Lachi's now in P4, Bassey's down into P8. I think he may have damage, and Lachi's actually does the right thing in backing out there. He's going to go for the run through this corner, however. De Mortis won't have DRS. Can the Haas driver do anything against either of these drivers? He's going to get one, at least. Will he now be able to get Derouge as well onto the main straight? As Derouge will then... Actually, no, he'll actually get DRS. It's that effective round here that he's going to get DRS either way. As that red light was flashing because energy had been used to its maximum capacity. You should be a different flashing light for max capacity use compared to running low on ERS, I think, but yeah, either way, it's me rambling on about things that probably aren't that important. You know me. As now we have a bit of a Red Bull inter-team battle here. ISRL Knight versus Robbie. Knight's got the outside line, which will turn into the inside line going into this corner, and Robbie does the right thing there. Teammates don't want to be going side by side into here. We saw what happened last time. Two people went side by side here. And he allows Knight into P6, but I don't know for how long, with Captain Blade all over the back of these two drivers. Knight needs to get a move on and fast if he wants to keep this position heading on to lap 8. It's now the medium should be the better tyre, I believe. As EFL Leo has realised this completely and he's going to send it down the inside of De Mort, and it's a brilliant move from the Mercedes driver. Knight's round actually in the back, and there's a bit of contact here as well. What has just happened there? De Mort squeezed into the wall, clearly not happy about it, and neither driver giving an inch to each other, which is not what you want to see really. You want fair, clean racing where people are given room to each other and are actually allowed to race fairly. But you know, just my opinion on things. As De Mort's now going round the outside, not worked whatsoever. He's gone way off track, and he's going to have to let Leo through there because it was not fair to keep the position after that. However, what he has done is released Leo back into the sides of Lorenzo on those medium tyres, who, since I've last been on board with him, has been dispatched by Derouge and Lachise. Interesting. As we slowly go further into this race, still no safety car or VSC or chaos in a bad way. However, we've got all 14 drivers in the race. We've had a few make their pit stops, and it's now beginning to spread out a little, as you can probably see by the mini-map, which will help drivers out. I believe it's going to give them more chance to pick moves off one by one. I mean, as Lachise actually takes the lead of the race for now, Derouge will realise that he's got a penalty. I'm sure of that. As he probably won't be too fussed. He's going to maybe go into the pits. As actually De Mort is out of the session. He's done a Max Verstappen, and it's a full course safety car, and now that has completely changed the game. And the likes of Jono and Knight have benefited massively from this. And now what do the likes of Deadly Mosquito and so forth do? Because they're on the medium tyres, and it's almost ruined their race. As I'm sure a lot of other drivers will be into the pits as well. If I was at the back, like the likes of Farah Fury and stuff, they don't need to pit. They've just pit onto the medium tyres. They're good to go. However, if you're Lorenzo and Leo, do you have to make 2 stops? What do you do? As this lap will be done by Delta, sponsored by Delta, should be really. However, it's a bit like a VSC this lap, as the safety car is letting everyone through to get people past, and this has actually gifted Le Cheese and Derouge almost a free 1-2 here. So as I said, there's been no carnage. About half a lap later, there was carnage. You know, things you love to see, really. I'm sorry for the curse, but we as we will now see Le Cheese into the pits, Derouge into the pits, Lorenzo into the pits, and so as well as EFL Leo and Robbie. Does this mean Deadly Mosquito's going to go for the race lead? Is that what we're saying here? Or is he going to come into the pits as well? No, he's going to go into the pits as well. So how far are Jono and Knight from the race leaders here? They're going to come out in the pits at the minute. They're going to come out quite a bit ahead, actually. However, 2 of the drivers in front of Robbie, Jono and Knight, are going to have to do either 15 laps on the softs, which I think is ridiculous, or they're going to have to stop again. Oh, safety car, but you know, either or. This is why rotation said the medium to soft is quicker, but it's a lot riskier. As I'm gonna find some stuff to talk about, because now I'm bored once again under the safety car. So we've got a bit of mix of strategies here. I think the safety car should come in this lap. And yeah, we're going to talk about how we're going to maybe quick vote in the comments. Should Saudi Arabia be on the grid, on the calendar for next season? Yes or no? Do we think Vegas should have its own race, and Miami and Austin? Or is it becoming too much about the money in F1? I mean, obviously it is becoming too much about the money in F1, but yeah. You know what I mean. Is it becoming too, we don't want good tracks, we're going to make tracks because we want tracks in these locations? That's what I think, personally, but you know. As safety car is in this lap, so we will get ourselves back underway here. What will the Cheese and MLT, Le Cheese MLT do? He's left it late and he's come into the pits. Okay. Interesting tactic. As Leo has now got past Derouge, and so has Lorenzo, so it's a role reversal of the first part of this race. These two will now be on the soft tyres and will be absolutely flying along. All Derouge has to do, though, realistically, is keep hold of this position now, and he should be fine. Very concerned to why Le Cheese has pit. No idea, to be honest, but hey ho. You wanted an interesting restart, and we got one, didn't we? I guess. As now we head round the banking for the first time since the restart, and Derouge is doing very well actually to keep up with these guys. The softs should be running away with it at this moment in time. If I'm totally honest, they should have such more grip on these tyres. I know they've both got fresh tyres, but it shouldn't be this. It should be easy for them to drive away. As there's already beginning a gap to form. As Captain Blade and ISRL once again going head to head with RPM Jono this time also involved. They're going to go 3 wide here, going into the final corner. This surely does not end well for someone. As not, it takes the widest line. There's a bit of a big... Oh, and there's a massive crash. Yeah. That's a safety car, surely. It's a virtual... Oh. Yeah, a virtual safety car. Oh, no, full course safety car. So. Yeah, interesting. RPM and Jono, Jono and Captain Blade there. I said it going into the corner. 3 wide will not work in that corner. And it did not work, and they are both out because of it. Just saying. Take it from the major expert as the cheese is in the pits once again. I'm not sure why. Don't know why he's gone on softs. They're not going to make it to the end from here, but you know, I think this race has heated up slightly, as people will believe now that softs can make it to the end at least. I guess giving them hope's not a bad thing. But yeah, CPI DeRouge is laughing at the minute. I think he's still going to have the best tyres at the end. Yes, this doesn't help him, but also, yeah. But yeah, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm really sorry for this. I need a plan in advance what I'm going to say during safety cars, because there always is one. But I would usually just do facts about country, but as Leo's in, wow. He does not trust those tyres making it to the end. He's gone for a fresh set of softs. Okay. As Fowler's actually decided to follow him in. So a few drivers here clearly thinking these softs will make it to the end. Lorenzo's trusting they can from a few laps before as well. And I have no clue whether they will, to be honest. No clue at all. But yeah, we have got 13 laps remaining. Oh yeah. It's a very spicy race indeed. We've got DeRouge and Lorenzo at the front. 2 different strategies, no penalties, and then we've got Robbie and Knight, who as a team have worked very well together today, putting himself into P3 and P4. Sofian from the back of the grid as well, P5, great race from him, and no penalties as well. He's in a very good position. Sprunky had a crash at the start, I think, or maybe had damage, I'm not too sure. Back in P6 now though. He's loving life. Bessie, obviously we've seen the pace he does actually possess in that Haas. He knows he's got the pace, he's just got to work his way back through the field once again. Then we got Deadly Mosquito, Leo, Farrell Fury, and La Cheese, all on soft tyres as well. It's quite an even mix, in fairness, of what strategy is what. As the safety car will stay out for another lap, I'm sure that is music to the Ferrari of Lorenzo's ears. And yeah. As we got a bit of discussion, maybe, I don't know. I'm hoping so. We do no longer have discussion. Okay. I'm just confirm, bit and box. As I'm looking at the time, I think we may be able to get interviews in as well, which is what you love to see, really. But yeah. We're going to go around very slowly for another lap here, then we'll eventually get back underway, where we can see drivers go very fastly around the track for a very fast period of time. It's a bit of a sprint race once again. More realistic though this time, with people on different strategies and whatnot. We've got the Ferrari of last season going for an alternate strategy with the softs again, trying to get a good position before the tyres die out. We've got the main drivers on mediums and whatnot. We've actually got a title fight in P1 and P2. We've got Kimi Raikkonen against Carlos Sainz for the title. And we're in for a treat. I think we got Darude, who's got seemingly very good pace on those mediums, versus Lorenzo, who's been quick all throughout today's session. And we just gotta wait to see. But yeah, we'll have the safety car in this lap message now. Let me know, so. There's got safety car in this lap, there we go. As Lorenzo will become the safety car. If you're not aware, it controls when the cars restart on the grid now, as leader of the pack, to allow the safety car enough room to get into the pits, to be safe from an incident. And yeah, you've seen it all before. I'm going to ride on board here with a lovely camera angle of some buildings, which actually look very nice. I'd like to stay in that building. Looks like a good place to stay, as we still wait for Lorenzo to get underway. He's eventually gone. He's done it very well indeed. Darude's been caught lacking slightly here, and Robbie now has a perfect chance to get at him. And Sofian actually looking for a move on ISRL Knight. He's going to go for a move on Robbie as well, almost into turn one. Brilliant move from the Williams driver, as Knight's actually come back at him very well indeed. Not so brilliant move, as Bassi is now in P6 against ED Sprunky, and Leo, using those softs to good effect at the minute, he's going to go find every little bit of traction on this. I don't know how many kilometre circuit, but not very wide Jeddah circuit, and Lorenzo's got that 1 second gap already. Much better restart this time from the Ferrari driver on those soft tyres in comparison to what we saw a few laps ago. Now Leo wanting to make massive use of those soft tyres. Oh, he's actually caused Bassi into a bit of a mistake there. He's going to have the run on him now completely. He should get the move done very simply indeed, as the cheese, we should be trying to follow Leo through here, and he's not managing to do so. Leo into P6, his charge back through the field is on its way. Bassi, I think, now has damage. The correct thing to do is to let your teammate through here. He does so, and he also manages to get Deadly Mosquito through, and he actually tapping the tyres there, going into the last corner. As he hits all there, Deadly Mosquito, can he do anything against Bassi into the final corner? I don't think he'll actually be able to. As ISRL Knight gets past Robbie into P3, a crucial move for him, as we've seen who's behind him. And Leo's in the wall. Never mind. That is not the plan. Leo in the wall, and I'm pretty sure out of this race. Yeah. As Deadly Mosquito has been retired from the session there. I'm not too sure what's gone on there. I think something, I don't know, to say suspicious, I don't know. I've no idea what's gone on there. But either way, Lachise is through. We'll let the stewards decide what's gone on there. As we've got a move at the back as well. Farah Fury against Bessie. Farah Fury gets the move done very nicely on those soft tyres. And into P8 as Sofian picks up his penalty, which is what was helping him so much, is having that penalty gap to the people in front. However, that is null and void now pretty much, as the cheese on these softs looks so much quicker than everyone else. He's going to have the run on Robbie into the final corner here. No DRS of course, as it's activated the next lap. He's going to look for the dive. He's going to think better of it. He's going to get the better run in. He's going to think smartly here and get the better run in. Make an absolute mug of Robbie there. The Haas driver has done, and into P4 he goes. This is all for position as well now. The penalties check. Everyone's got 3 seconds apart from Robbie and Bassi. So, who's Pitt as well? Bassi out of this race as well as Leo now pretty much. They'll be fighting for P9 or P10. The Cheese is on an absolute mission at this current moment in time. He's going to have ERS, he's going to have the DRS. Can he make a move? Is he going to think of a move into the final corner? Well, not final corner, turn like 11, we're going to guess. Things bear over, however, he's now got that gap down to 2 attempts, which should make it a very simple move indeed for the Haas driver, as long as he doesn't hit any walls across this track. As Sprunky and Robbie now side by side, it's going to allow Farrell Fury onto the back of them. What can Farrell Fury do here? He's going to look down the inside. Oh, taps his rear wheel, and he's going to think better of it. Yep, he thinks better of it indeed. Robbie has had an interesting exit. Sprunky's hit the wall there. I'm not too sure what's going on back here. As we're going to cut back on board with the Cheese quickly, he's going to go round the outside of Knight into P3, and that is the podium position for the Haas driver. Now, can he catch Darouge? Can he catch Lorenzo? He's got 3 lap pressure tyres. What can he make? What can he do? Obviously, he needs to get a lot more work done, and they're actually 3 wide in the background here. As oh, there's a bit of contact there as well with Farrell Fury and Robbie. Farrell Fury looking round the outside, however, of EDA Sprunky, and he does seem to get it done. He's going to have the inside line going into the next corner, and he's going to squeeze Sprunky out, and Sprunky does the right thing. He was off track. As the Cheese has got a penalty. Mate, no, that's not the plan. The plan is you come back at them and get the win. Stop doing a Ben JS. Stop getting penalties. However, Knight now will need to desperately hang on to the back of that Haas for the next 7 laps if he wants to keep that podium position, which he now actually may be in contention for once again. As I'm going to try and commentate on something, but we're going to go to the battle for P6 because that is the only battle happening in the Jeddah circuit right now, as we're down to 10 runners, and it's hard to have a battle with 10 runners when they're all very spread out. As Lorenzo is now heading on to lap 19, Sprunky's going to send it on Farrell Fury into the final corner. Is he, as Farrell Fury played this perfectly and going to get the switch back on him? Sprunky defends to the left hand side. Is he going to actually make a difference, however? I don't think it will. He's going to send it round the long way, round the outside. Has he got the move done? I believe he has done. He has indeed. Very nice move from the Alpine driver, and into P6 once again he goes. Now can he get the gap out to him? That is the real question. As Leo is in the pits, I'm guessing to retire. Oh no, he's going on mediums. He's just... don't know what he's doing at this point. But yeah, the gap's kind of stabilising at the minute. These mediums tyres probably starting to come back to these drivers now. 6 to 8 lap old, they're not going to be the peak of condition, and Knight will know this more than anyone. It's going into the last few laps. As there's a yellow flag in sector 1, it's EFL Leo. Not sure why that yellow flag came up, if I'm honest. However, it did come up. We've sorted it and they're gone. But Knight is well and certain, truly, within this DRS. So you know what that means? It means CPI Darouge should be making inroads anytime soon on Lorenzo. Are we going to have a little battle for the race win? I blooming hope so, between the two title rivals. As Sprunky had managed to re-overtake Farrell Fury this time. Sorry for that noise. I think this is a sign. The mediums, I say they're going off, and Darude has had an awful first sector there. He's lost almost a second to Cheese. And, well, just as I say, we may get a battle, the opposite occurs. So, the Tin Can / BenJS curse strikes again. Woo! I'm so tired. But yeah, we're going to have no battles going on at this moment in time. It's not great. It is what it is. I'm going to ride on board with an ISRL Knight for a bit because, you know, why not? You know what I mean? Just, you do you. Actually, Pharaoh Fury will have DRS, I believe. We have a battle. Sue. Can he make any inroads on the Ferrari in front of him? Can Pharaoh Fury? As EFL Leo picks up a penalty. I'm beginning to think he's not caring much about this race as it stands. As Sprunky making the most of his defending moves quite early on in the straight. He's not played that to the best idea, as Pharaoh Fury right on the back of him now. Can he find a way through on those soft tyres, which... Now we've got a Mercedes going through. Yeah, that's Leo. We ignore that. We continue. So yeah, we have Pharaoh Fury in the Alpine facing EDA Spunky in the Ferrari. But we haven't seen, I don't think, this season yet. So yeah, be good to watch. Have a little watch along, stick it on the telly, whilst the front drivers just do their thing and just drive off. So yeah, we're going to chillax and watch this little battle because it's the only battle on track. And yeah, I'm really running out of things to say, if you couldn't tell already, as EFL Leo is into the pits once again. God knows what he's doing, he's being a bit strange at the moment in time. But Pharaoh Fury this time round is a lot closer to the back of the Ferrari. He should get this move quite simply. He's actually turned his DRS off, going onto this back straight. He's doing everything he can to not get that DRS detection points. And he's done that very well, actually. I don't think the drivers realise the detection points actually after the last corner. Still, we don't mention that, but yeah. As Pharaoh Fury gets the move done. EA Sprunky once again, and back into P6 does the Alpine go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. As we start to head into the final 4 laps of this race, Lorenzo kind of has checked out at the minute. Cheese, due to his penalties, can't challenge Darude if at this moment. I mean, Darude could make a mistake, we never know. But yeah, as I've just been on board with this, and we've been on board with this the entire time, Sprunky's actually got past Pharaoh Fury in Sector 1. I have missed that completely. I'm very sorry, but I'm guessing it was a good move because he was in Sector 1. It had to be a good move. Well, that was a mistake, I guess. But yeah, we'll ride back on board with Pharaoh Fury because they're still the only people trying to actually overtake each other. And once again, going down into this long straight on the back straight, he's going to not open his DRS wall, Pharaoh Fury. He's trying every way possible to avoid getting detection, slipstream, the lot. And what these lot are doing by going slowly into this last corner is every time, it's allowing Robbie behind them to catch right up. It's not the cleverest idea. I told him last lap the detections at the last after the last corner. However, they have ignored that and they're going to go side by side into turn 1 here. Can Pharaoh Fury get the move done? He's later of the breakers into turn 2, and he does get that move done indeedy. Does the Alpine driver, and back into P6 once again does he go. As we're nearing the penultimate lap of this race now. The Cheese is slowly catching Darude, but it's going to be too little too late, I believe. But yeah. we're going to see once again it's going to be a role reversal of the previous overtakes. Is it going to be Sprunky getting past the others? We shall see. We shall see. As I think it will be. We're going to ride on board once again. He's a lot closer to the back of Farrell than Farrell was to the back of Sprunky. So as we head down onto this penultimate straight once again, Farrell this time can't actually use his DRS even if he wanted to. Sprunky is using his DRS. He's still quite a way back though, however. And Farrell does seem to get quite a good exit as well. He's going to be 4 tenths ahead going in onto the fast finish line. Is that enough? No, it's not. Sprunky looks for the right outside, looks for the inside. He takes the inside line. Farrell Fury, last of the late breakers once again, however. Squeezes Sprunky wide enough just to keep it fair racing. Brilliant racing from the pair of these two here. And this has meant, yeah. Farrell Fury once again takes P6. We're going to move to another battle now. It's a lot less relevant battle in the grand scheme of things, but it's an interesting battle nonetheless. We got Le Cheese now 2 tenths back from CPI de Rouge, which is very interesting because even though of the penalties, Le Cheese can get his way onto P2 of the grid, which will be quite an achievement for him after start being P11, P12 under the restart. He's using his ERS. He doesn't really need to. He's close enough already. He goes round, flying round the outside, does the Haas driver into the final corner. And will de Rouge actually do anything in retaliation? He's got a lot more ERS to use. He's got the DRS to use. He's going to come back at him into turn 1, and he does so very nicely indeed. Brilliant move from the Alfa Romeo driver, and he holds on to P2. Even though he's keeping it anyway because of the penalties, but it's obviously nicer to do it on track. So, as once again we have Farrell Fury and Sprunky going side by side, it seems, into turn 1. And once again, Farrell Fury has somehow been the one to get into P6. I feel like I've said that more than any other catchphrase today. As Le Cheese, is he going to go for the move here? It's going to be ambitious of him. He's going to try it. He's going to look around the outside. He's going to look now down the inside, which will then turn the outside into this fast right left-hander. And he thinks better of it, which is fair enough, really. He's got a 3 tenths gap. He can just wait for the DRS straight if he wants to make a move, I believe. Doesn't seem like he's waiting anyway. Hits the wall there, does the Cheese. That's surely damage for him, but it won't matter. DRS going into this final corner. He's going to have the overspeed by a country mile. The yellow flag in sector 3. I'm not sure what's gone on. However, we'll cut back to Lorenzo, who started the race on pole. Has led pretty much every single lap. Safety car caused a bit of chaos in his strategy. It didn't make a difference. And he does win the race. CPI de Rouge in P2. Brilliant race from him. Le Cheese in P3. Sofian out of nowhere gets P3 on the line. All that battling has actually caused Le Cheese more damage than he probably realised. Knight will finish P5. Farrell Fury eventually gets that P6 with that long battle with Sprunky, who finishes P7. I'm not sure who's P8 and P9 and P10. We'll check in a second. And we can do a quick interview. We'll do one question each, I guess, because I need to practice. But Lorenzo, with the race win, closes that gap in on de Rouge. A very important win for him today around Jeddah. He gets the sprint race win and the endurance win. Yes, I'm calling endurance still. And a big congrats to the Ferrari driver. He pretty much drove a faultless race today. As we're simply going to move things on. So Lorenzo wins the race. CPI de Rouge P2, Sofian P3, Le Cheese P4, Knight in P5, Farrell P6, Sprunky P7, Bassi P8, Robbie P9. Leo in P10 is the last of the finishers, as Deadly Mosquito, Jono, Captain Blade and Demort, all of the retirees unfortunately from today's session. We'll now add Lorenzo, Derouge and Sofian to the party and see what they have to say about their race real quick. Sofian, Derouge and Lorenzo. I'm going to add them all to the party. Hopefully they all can join the party. I believe it has worked, and we will wait to see if anyone will join. And if not, that'll be it. If so, we'll have a little interview and that will be it. But yeah, a very chaotic race from start to finish, really, without the chaos and causing crashes, apart from in the middle bit where it went wrong a bit. So yeah, we'll wait a few minutes here, give them a chance to join in. So we have had Lorenzo join the party, so we'll start off with you straight away, Lorenzo. We're going to do one question real quick. When that safety car came out, what was your thoughts and how bad was that tyre wear on those softs at the end?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
When the safety car came out, I thought I was quite unlucky because it came out right at the time that the soft runners will have the chance to box. And I was thinking about getting on hards, but I made the right choice to go on softs and then see what I'll do next. And then thankfully another one came out, and I didn't put much wear in my tires. And yeah, tire wear was better than expected because I was pulling away from the Rouge. And yeah, in the end I had like 60% tire wear, so it was quite an easy one for me, and the safety car didn't compromise me much.
That's not bad at all. We'll carry on interviewing you because we've got no one else joining us. So obviously with the sprint race win and the race win today, you've caught Derouge by quite a lot of points, I believe. You may be almost overtaking him in the championship. Is that and so what was that like for you? Big result today.
Yeah, I liked racing today. I had a very good pace and a lot of battles, especially in the sprint race with the Mercedes of Leo and Bassi. Although I knew they had the penalties, I was one warning away from getting one, so I was still pushing to overtake them on track and get the win, which I did there in the end. And yeah, I want to congratulate them too, because we had a clean and respectful battle.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a nice battle you lot had the front at the start. And throughout the race, really, as well. Yeah. And thoughts on what is the track next week? I'll get it up quickly. It is Portugal next week. Have you got any thoughts on that track?
When it first came out, I didn't like it at all, but after I raced in a league and won, so yeah, I think it suits me well.
Suits you well. That's good to hear. So maybe we'll see you here back next week then. And I don't think anyone else is joining the party, so that will be the end of the stream today. Thank you all for watching. Tune into Division 1 in 25 minutes, and I hope you all enjoyed. See you next week.